Gigi Dall'Igna, Ducati's general manager and widely regarded as the most important supporter and driving force behind the bold decision to sign Marc Marquez, has now expressed his deep admiration, not only for the Spaniard's innate speed, but above all for the foresight and systematic approach he has adopted to recapture the MotoGP title. This approach demonstrates that Marquez is an architect whose revival has been orchestrated with incredibly meticulous calculation, far beyond pure talent. The culmination of this long and structured process was evident on emotional Sunday, when he secured the world title, the perfect conclusion to his meticulously laid plan. For Dall'Igna, this success confirms that his decision to sign Marquez was based on a deep understanding of the rider's mental and strategic capacities, making him a more valuable choice than simply the fastest rider outside the factory team structure. Ducati's momentous decision to place Marc Marquez as Francesco Bagnaia's teammate in the factory team for the 2025 season, effectively sidelining his fierce rival and compatriot Jorge Martín, initially sparked speculation and potential doubts both inside and outside the paddock. However, these doubts began to unravel and then completely dissipate at the race in Thailand, one of the early stops on the calendar, where Marquez began to showcase his unique and extraordinary racing acumen. Bagnaia himself frankly admitted that the Spaniard seemed to be playing with his competitors on the track, a display of mental and strategic mastery. That moment in Thailand was the first confirmation for Ducati that they were not just acquiring a rider with great speed, but a master strategist capable of reading, manipulating, and dominating a race with unmatched tactical maturity. The crucial decision regarding Bagnaia's teammate on the factory team was the result of in-depth dialogue and careful consideration between two of Ducati's most senior pillars, CEO Claudio Domenicali and General Manager Gigi Dall'Igna. Given Dall'Igna's position, he is almost on par with Domenicali in determining the team's direction. The final decision, agreed upon in Catalunya, was based on a comprehensive set of parameters, with speed being a key factor. In this context, performance data gathered from races Marquez competed in, even on the previous year's 2023 Desmosedici, provides strong support. These figures convincingly demonstrate that Marc Marquez has achieved half of his personal goal, returning to competitiveness and securing a place on the factory team. Just hours after the dramatic and emotional moment that saw Marc Marquez break down in tears on his bike in the final sector of the Motegi circuit, upon learning that he had clinched his 9th world championship, 7 of which have been in the MotoGP class, Dall'Igna chose to reflect on and emphasize aspects of the number 93 beyond his sheer speed and instincts. The Ducati general manager openly stated that he had run out of adjectives to adequately describe Marquez's achievement. Dall'Igna specifically praised his foresight in programming his bid to become world champion again as truly extraordinary. He even argued that Marc Marquez deserved more congratulations and appreciation for his strategic planning and mental acuity, rather than simply his track speed or unique, aggressive riding style. Beyond mere praise for strategy and speed, Dall'Igna added a new dimension to his appreciation by highlighting the monumental sacrifices Marc Marquez has made to regain his glory. I don't think there are many sportsmen in history who have sacrificed as much as he has to win again, Dall'Igna said. This profound statement demonstrates the coach's full understanding and appreciation of the trying journey, including serious injuries and lengthy rehabilitation challenges that Marquez has endured. Dall'Igna, who in Japan celebrated his 3rd consecutive MotoGP world title for Ducati, following Pecco Bagnaia's 2, sees Marquez as the epitome of perseverance and a steely will. This further justifies the fact that the decision to sign him was not simply a gamble, but an investment in a sportsman with a historic dedication to winning. As an engineer and manager who has worked with some of the greatest talents such as Jorge Lorenzo and Francesco Bagnaia, Dall'Igna placed particular emphasis on the humility displayed by Marc Marquez, particularly in his readiness to admit mistakes or say mea culpa after making a mistake, despite his errors being minimal throughout the season. The Ducati executive argued that it's actually much easier for someone who has won so many titles and medals like Marc to openly admit their mistakes. He compared him to less accomplished riders, who may feel they have more to prove, and therefore tend to find it harder to admit their mistakes. This psychological observation completes the portrait of Marc Marquez as a champion who is not only fast and strategic, but also possesses the maturity and humility that allow him to continue learning and adapting without being weighed down by his past ego. Despite the euphoria of Marc Marquez's title win, Dall'Igna also described the weekend at Motegi as a perfect day for Ducati, as it included another crucial element: the return of Francesco Bagnaia's top form. He highlighted the joy of achieving a double victory in the race, and, at the same time, the team's success in helping Pecco recover from his difficult period. Bagnaia left Motegi with mixed emotions, elated at his return to peak form, but also frustrated that a solution to his problems hadn't been found sooner. Dall'Igna subtly admitted that Bagnaia's return to competitiveness was the turning point the reigning champions have been waiting for in recent months. This demonstrates that the team's focus isn't solely on recruiting new stars, but also on maintaining their world championship form. While no one at Ducati is willing to publicly confirm the technical details, it is generally understood within the paddock that Bagnaia has rediscovered his lost feeling after the Italian team integrated elements from his Desmosedici GP24 bike. The model he won 11 Grands Prix on and battled for the World Championship all the way to the final round, into his Desmosedici GP25. Dall'Igna himself prefers to be pragmatic and is reluctant to discuss the details of the magic that has restored Bagnaia's competitiveness, either temporarily or permanently, stressing that the ultimate result is the end result. The most important thing is that Pecco is fast. He's in the lead. He wins sprints and races, he said, a statement that encapsulates Ducati's focus on output and efficiency. When a Venetian engineer was asked why successful adjustments to Bagnaia's bike couldn't have been made earlier, Dall'Igna offered an argument that emphasized the complexity of the racing development process. He asserted that it took a whole thorny path, a difficult and exhaustive testing process, before the team finally found a solution and a way out of the tunnel. Dall'Igna rejected the notion that it was impossible to help Bagnaia more quickly, but explained that to provide the right assistance, the team must first know exactly what to do. And to know what to do, sometimes you have to create a route. If you don't do that, you won't get the solution, he concluded. This explanation illustrates that in prototype motorcycle racing, the right technical solutions require systematic and in-depth investigation, even with the resources of a factory team like Ducati, and that patience and a thorough testing process are key to unraveling the mysteries of performance.